All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. You are surviving. It is pretty hectic this time of year with applications and greenhouses and spring breaks, and I see some student teachers on here as well. So hopefully y'all are doing really well. Instead of my typical normal, hey, here's an FFA update email, I decided to go ahead and talk this out. Sometimes it's easier to hear people talk about something instead of reading it. Or if you have specific questions about, say, convention, plant presentation, now's a really great time to ask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I am going to be showing you my notes for most of it. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump off in just a second. You're going to hear me talk a lot about the region meetings. The region meetings are going to be on April 26th. All 4 region meetings are April 26th. Your applications are due and plants are due, and we'll talk about that in a second. So April 26th, in person. It's not a virtual event. This is an in-person event. Region 1, we're going to be meeting at Hillcrest High School. Region 2 is going to be at Lawrence. Region 3 is McBee. And Region 4, you're at Barnwell. So make sure you put those locations on your calendar. You'll be hearing more details and agendas and all that stuff sent out closer to that meeting date, either from your region SCAAE vice president or your regional coordinator. So just kind of keep in mind, but go ahead and get those dates and stuff on your calendar. The very first thing I want to talk about briefly is here. For starters, Grants for Growing just came out as a reminder that the Grants for Growing application is online. You can get up to $5,000 for your chapter. I know I got it a couple times for like improving greenhouse, community development projects, so forth. So take a look there. So plant presentation, we are asked, it's a time when the agriculture programs throughout the state donate flowers, flats of flowers to the State House, where they're going to be planted around the State House grounds. Some are at the governor's mansion, some are actually at the State House and the like. We ask that each teacher, not each program, each teacher donate 3 nice looking flats of flowers. Please don't give me the junk stuff that doesn't sell, the half dead stuff. If for some reason, maybe you don't have a greenhouse, maybe the greenhouse isn't coming out like the way you'd like to, reach out to the teachers in your region. A lot of times they will offer to sell you a flat of plants and we'll take care of that. So in the past, this is many years ago, but many years ago, I would ask Pat Earl at McBee, say, hey, our plants aren't great. Can I buy 3 flats from you? And I would just pay Pat Earl. Pat Earl would bring me the flats to there. So on the 27th, which is the day after your region meetings, the ceremony will begin at 11. So starting around 10:15, we're going to ask those schools that are delivering plants to go ahead and bring them in. I have parking for those that are delivering plants. I do not have parking reserved for everybody. So I know Mark Earl does a great job. He comes up and delivers the plants. Obviously, Ben Teal, a few others. So your trucks and trailers, I have parking set aside for you. If you're just coming with your school for the ceremony, please go ahead and use the parking lot garages or the meters. And basically what happens during this time is we lay out all the plants out on the State House steps, same location as Legislative Day. And we do a brief ceremony. It's a FFA and SCAAE ceremony, basically presenting the plants to the State House. So it's a great opportunity. If you didn't get to go to Legislative Day, or even if you did, come out, bring some plants, meet with your legislators that day. We don't have any other plan except that ceremony and donating the flowers. April 26th, the fun day. All your applications are due. And if you're wondering what applications are due, this is the sheet that I gave you guys. It was the last page of the handout from the Farmer and Agribusiness Convention from that meeting. And I'll send this out on April 1st. April 1st is a big day. You're going to get an email from me with all this information. So April 1st, all the applications are due. Everything is due. The Fertilizer and Agrochemical Association scholarship is highlighted. That one is not due until June, and you're going to send that directly to the address on that application. But everything else is due. Scholarships, awards, state degrees, national chapter, everything. So, but here's the kicker, folks. In order for me to judge your applications, your state degrees, national chapter, whatever it is, you have to have your dues paid, which means if, kind of common sense, if your FFA member is applying for a scholarship and I don't have their dues, they're not an FFA member. Therefore, I cannot judge their scholarships. Okay, so please make sure that you judge and you submit and pay your dues. And if you're not sure if the check has come through, email Jenny at that SC Ag Ed or email me and I could check. An attachment will be sent out on April 1st on how to download them. So we have two options this year. You can, of course, bring them a hard copy to the region meeting. That's no worries. And actually, that's almost easier for me in some ways. So you can bring a hard copy to your region meetings, or you can download them the same way we've been downloading them the past 2 years. You're going to receive this link on this page on April 1st. So if you are submitting your national chapter application, you click here and you save, it goes to Dropbox, and then you'll save it and it's going to tell you how to save it. If you're submitting Form 1, remember, if you are on extended contract, Form 1 is required per your contract. Okay. So if you're sending me Form 1, just hit Form 1 _ your chapter name, Form 2 _ your chapter name. You must download, just to be fair, the same time the physical applications are due. So all applications have to be downloaded by Tuesday, April 26th, the region meeting at 5 p.m. Short form, long form, proficiencies, they all have separate links. They'll go to different boxes. For proficiency area, for example, I did diversified livestock. Please, you do not have to put entrepreneurship placement combined. You could just put equine, diversified horticulture, turf, the kid's last name, and then the chapter. Scholarships are listed under here. American degrees. If you have someone that's completing an American degree, I don't need a copy of it. I just need their names, and I will check online and approve them that way.
Jillian.
Yes.
We had a question about
Sure.
Parking a bus downtown for plant presentation day. Where would be the best place to park? And also Mark Earl said that if anybody needs flats, he'd be willing to sell them. Perfect.
Buses are kind of like that plant presentation day. I'm looking for something here quick. Very similar plant presentation day. It's kind of wherever you can find them. You may have to go ahead and do 2 or 3 meters. Unfortunately, just kind of is what it is. It's not a long ceremony. So if you're there an hour, I wouldn't be surprised. What I was looking up on my phone, and I will post it in that email, is for those of you that came to legislative day, you can actually pay via a cell phone or a credit card, pay the meters that way instead of putting in quarters. We did that with ours. We put in a credit card, you just punch in a number, but there is an app. I cannot find it this moment on my phone, so I will include it there. I think that was it, right, Claire? I think. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. State officers, that encompasses a lot of everything. That includes the Gift of Blue, candidates, nom-com, and it shows you example on how to download everything. All I ask this year, please do not submit each page as a separate download. I know sometimes it's easier for you. A kid has 4 essays for an application. You're going to submit 4 different, you're going to download it 4 different times. Please don't do that. Combine it into one document and download it as is. State degrees. State degrees, you have to have a handwritten signature. Don't type names in. Don't do the signature font. It needs a physical signature. Some of the schools did this last year, and I really appreciate it. It was a heaven sent. Is they would send in their 5 kids' state degrees. The 6th download was a copy of all the signature forms. So the 5 signature forms onto one download. I don't want things filled up. I don't want 400 downloads just for 3 applications. So try to combine as much as you can together. All right. National chapter. If you are doing your proficiency, national chapter, and American degrees, anything through the National FFA's website, you are allowed to have a digital signature. Everything else has to have a handwritten signature. Okay, that's not an option. It has to have a handwritten signature, or I'm sending it back. Please read the rubric, and that's for everything. We're losing simple points, silly little points here and there. Simply follow the rubric. As teachers, I know you get tired of rubrics, but our judges are taking that rubric in your application and are following that rubric to a T. So please make sure that you're following the rubrics. And all the rubrics for proficiencies, American degrees, national chapter, all those are on FFA's website. We are going to be doing some in-person judging this year. Teachers, I'm going to need your help, whether it be some national chapter, if you can judge proficiencies. We're doing 3 different in-person days. Friday, May 6th, hopefully it'll be an all-dayer type thing. It's a Columbia area. I'm still working on a location. Saturday, May 7th, that's going to be the forestry CDE. We're going to have a room at Harbison. So while your teams are out competing, I would love to have some of y'all help judge some proficiencies or some scholarships. And then for those of you in the upstate, Tuesday, May 10th, all day, we're going to be in my office right next to the SO judging applications. So I would love to put out a request for have you guys help me then. Prep for Greatness, our virtual event in April that we was going to be for anybody that's interested in running for a state officer. We decided to go ahead and cancel it and do it a slightly different way. I didn't realize in scheduling it, it was Easter weekend. And I know it's softball time, baseball tournaments, the works. So instead, the week of April 18th, we're putting together a video. We'll release it to the teachers. It'll go on the YouTube page of each officer and myself going over what it's like to be a state officer in school, in high school, and college. What does a calendar look like? What are the expectations? What is attire? What is a typical day? What does a typical summer look like? So we're going to release that so you can show your kids, whether they're a freshman or they're going to apply this year, what it's like to be a state officer. So the virtual event is canceled. We are going to record our own and release it so you can watch it at your leisure or at your kids' leisure. Leadership Summit is still on. I'm really excited about this one. It's going to be at Keenan High School in Columbia, and there's going to be 4 different components. Excuse me, 5 different components. I got to fix that one. State officer candidates that have been approved will be doing training. Nominating committee that have been selected will receive training, and that training is free. We are going to do an FFA member workshop, and also during that time, Troy, Frank, maybe a few others are going to be doing some workshops for teachers. So let me show you really quick what the registration form looks like. It's going to look like this, very simple. It's not a Google form, it's a regular form. We're asking that we get the registration form by May 6th because there's t-shirts this year. We want to make sure that you get t-shirts in time. As I said, the state officer candidate and the nominating committee members are free. However, please don't send this part in to me until I confirm that your child has been approved to be a state officer candidate. You will know before May 6th. You're going to know that week after applications are due who the nom-com is and who the state officer candidates are. We're going to get that approved right away. That's going to be the first thing. So those are free, and this is in person. And then we have memberships attending the leadership training, advisors with a t-shirt, advisors no t-shirt. I just need a number of participants and t-shirts. So we did have it sponsored enough so that the state officer candidates nom-com will get all their stuff for free. We are going to be doing a meal and t-shirts. So this is the workshops that's for that middle group. So not your green hands and not your chapter officers. So somewhere in that middle, like what can they do next? What's their next steps in FFA? What is their next goal for FFA? Careers. We're going to go through that middle group to kind of guide them to hopefully become a chapter officer, maybe even a state officer in the future. And that form will be coming out soon. All right, last little bit of my information, and then I will, in just a moment, stop recording, and then we can talk and ask personal questions if you need to. So this year's theme is Cultivate. We're really excited for this theme. as we have done every year, and for those of you that are new, we do a convention t-shirt design contest. You take that theme and have your kids design a t-shirt. There is technically no limit as to the number of options per chapter. However, please pick your top 2 or 3. Don't send me 10. Have a little in-chapter contest, whatever the case is. And that chapter will be recognized on stage for that winning design t-shirt. So we don't design the t-shirts, a chapter designs the t-shirts. And this year it is Cultivate. We are the 95th South Carolina FFA convention. So about 3 colors max. It could be a hand-drawn, it could be something digital design, however you want. I said, give me no more than 3 per chapter. It gets a little much. The general information about your hotels are on the website under scaged.org. Click on FFA, then state convention. The registration link is also there. Now, after June 1st, we cannot refund your registration if it changes. You can add, but we can't take away. And the reason because is we have to order stuff. We have to purchase t-shirts, supplies, all the giveaways. Your kids are going to be getting giveaways. We plan for a lot of things. So after June 1st, you can change it up until June 1st. Let me rephrase. You can subtract up until June 1st. Now you can keep adding if you need to, but after June 1st, I cannot refund you. What to wear? Students, if you're going to be there, we ask that you are in official dress at the Greenville Convention Center. Teachers, professional dress. This year, it's been many years, we're going back to having a true delegate session. Now, during that time, the delegates will be voting on the state degrees, approving the financial report. We do a roll call. So 2 students are required per your extended contract, especially those you guys that are on that, to have members of the delegate session. But because we haven't had a delegate session in so long, we're doing a delegate enrichment, kind of like a little training beforehand. About 30 minutes before, Nancy McCannon is going to be leading a delegate session. Like, why are they here? Why is a delegate session important? And then it'll lead directly into the delegate session. Now, while you have those 2 kids at delegate session and you have 10 kids sitting around doing nothing, we're going to have workshops going on at the same time those delegate sessions are going. So bring all your kids, put 2 in the delegate session, put the rest in. We have a couple of different workshops going on. We wanted to make sure that your time was used wisely. So if you're bringing 3 kids for LDEs and CDEs that morning, we have workshops and activities going on during the day for the rest of your crew. We want to make sure there was plenty of stuff to do. I had some questions come in about parking. Check with the hotels, but most of the hotels have plenty of room for parking. Our host hotel where we are staying is the Hilton. And I know for a fact they have plenty of parking available, and most of them do. And also most of them have shuttles to and from the convention center and to and from downtown. So if you drive a bus, you stay at one of these hotels with shuttles, you can just park your bus and be done. Most of the hotels, except for one, which is across from the convention center. So those of you that have been to the EBS before, Education and Business Summit in Greenville, it's the one that's across from Krispy Kreme. That's one of the hotels. But the rest are right there on the Haywood Mall exit. So if you're looking for food, restaurants, and you have a bus, you can even take the bus, park it in the mall parking lot, and walk to all those restaurants. Whether in the mall, there's Cheesecake Factory and Applebee's and barbecue and sandwiches and pizzas. So you could park, there's plenty of parking at the mall, and you can just walk right to those restaurants. So there's tons to eat there. During the convention, that Wednesday morning, we'll have plenty of workshops. Dr. Wand, if you've never seen him at National Convention, he's the world's renowned hypnotist. He's a lot of fun. He's also going to be doing a workshop that morning, and we have about 2 or 3 other workshops as well. But we'll have state prepared, extent, creed, Green Hand and Upper Creed speaking, conduct to chapter, employment skills, farm business management, Probably Pro, Ag Ed, Agri-Science Fair, and Green Hand Knowledge Bowl will all be going on Wednesday morning. So you can bring your kids to that. If not, we have Dr. Wan doing workshops, PSOs. We have all sorts of stuff going on, even some other things that might be beneficial for you. We're looking at even a little teacher drop-in as well. So that being said, thank you, Claire, for stepping in and reading those comments. Does anyone else have any sort of questions for the greater good about any of the events coming up for spring applications, state convention, leadership summits? Okay, well, let me go ahead and stop.